crafty friends, Shana from ShanoukiArt. This is card number 2 in Full Deck Challenge 3 and today's prompt is orange. So gathering all my little bits and bobs of orange, remembering it doesn't have to be just orange, it can incorporate other colors. We also have to use one element that we used in our previous card. I used the spotty paper. It has an orange spot design in it, so I'm going to use that as my carryover element, and then my stamps, which are my constant throughout the challenge. With our mini collage theme in mind, we're going to start by cutting up little pieces and seeing how we're going to place these on the face of our card to make something appealing. If you missed the first video of this series, I will link it in the description box below. There is an introduction before I make the cards where I explain about what type of cards you should use, what you can use if you don't have playing cards, and also about the many challenges that I've set within this challenge. I also want to encourage you not to give up or to feel disheartened if your little mini collages aren't working out really quickly or as quickly as you have anticipated. Sometimes when we put things together, the way we've placed them looks really great from the very beginning and we just love what we've put down and we go straight for the glue and we stick it down. Other times it can take a really long time. It happens to me too, and it happened on this card. I went back and forth quite a few times. I added elements, I removed elements, but I kept at it. It's part of the enjoyment, part of the experimenting, and honestly, what is the rush? But if you do find yourself getting frustrated, and I feel frustrated sometimes too, I think the best thing to do is to leave the project and leave it to the side. Walk away from it, do something else, or come back to it the next day, or even the next week. You'll have a fresh mind, you'll have a fresh inspiration, and then you can try again. This paper flower is from a paper from the Art by Marlene die cut book. It's not quite orange enough. There is some orange in there, but I'm going to make it more orange. I'm using my ArtStacks acrylic marker and making it more to suit the color of my theme. It's totally okay to change elements to the color you need. If you totally love that element and it's not quite what you need, paint it, color it in, use inks, make it your own. The prompt for next week for card number 3 is yellow. This did take me a little while. I'm not going to bore you by showing you every single piece that I tried in the background. I'll move forward now to some of the pieces that I did end up using. So I was happy with some of this, so I started gluing down. I'm starting with the piece that's got the stripes, and I'm gluing that on the far right of my card. These orange circles are from handmade collage paper. I used the round part of the inside of a washi tape and I dipped it into some watery orange acrylic paint and then made stamp marks onto just plain paper. I used a light and a dark orange together, so it's actually made a bit of an ombre effect around the circle. I need to incorporate my previous element, which is that spotty paper. It doesn't have to be a big piece. I'm just going to put a small amount, basically just 2 small strips with a few spots on. Of course, I've selected a section that does have the orange. This piece is from a printed kit. It was an autumn theme, so there's beautiful like watery autumn colors. And I like the darker orange for contrast, so I'm going to use that at the top. Remember I said you can change the colors of things to suit your theme. I love this stamp. The other one is too dark. This one is not quite dark enough. So I'm going to use my marker again and color the stamp in to the orange tone that I want. And that suits my card. I was contemplating leaving those rough torn edges, but then decided I'm going to trim everything off neatly. I like it better this way. Well, for this specific project. I was feeling this flower was a little too big to leave on its own on the left, even though it was only half a flower. So I've cut it in half again, and I'm going to split it and put it in two different sections of my card. I love these little orange hearts, and I'm trying really hard to find a spot for them. In the meantime, I'm going to add some definition. I'm using a black fine liner pen and going around the colored circles. I'm just trying to decide if I want that other piece of flower more in the middle or more at the bottom of the card. And I've chosen the middle. Using my black fine liner pen again, I'm going over some of the petals. The flower on the left was sort of torn short. There's a couple of petals missing. So I'm going to try and extend that. I did first try with a fine liner pen. And then I also decided to do some more definition around the stamp. So I've done a black line with a fine liner there too. I think it adds a good contrast. Now, the fine liner pen doesn't write well on the face of the card, even though it's not super shiny, it is matte. So I decided to use a piece of orange paper to create an additional petal. It also fills that space better and creates balance. Otherwise, it all feels a bit top heavy. So using that autumn paper printable, I'm cutting out a petal and sticking that down. So I've incorporated a previous element in the spotty paper from our previous card. In this card, I've kept the top left open so you can see that it is a plain card, and then I've used a postage stamp. And now I'm going to create a hole so I can hang it on my ring. I really hope you enjoyed this card number 2 in Full Deck Challenge 3 and were inspired to create your own. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thanks again for watching, happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!